Right now, there is a lot of noise in the crypto market, especially around XRP. A major claim is spreading fast that the United States has approved a massive federal bill connected to XRP, with numbers like $9,784 per XRP and a huge $549 trillion injection being talked about. And this kind of headline is grabbing attention everywhere, and many XRP holders are confused, excited, and also a bit unsure about what is real and what is just hype. In times like this, it becomes very important to slow down, understand the situation clearly, and break the news into simple parts so we can see what is actually happening behind the scenes. We will look at where this claim is coming from, what it could mean for XRP holders, and whether this kind of price level even makes sense in the real world. Because when numbers like 9784 per XRP and trillions of dollars start appearing, it is very easy to get carried away. But smart investors always focus on logic, facts, and timing instead of emotions. So if you are holding XRP or thinking about investing, this breakdown is going to give you a clear and simple understanding of what's going on. XRP not at a few dollars, but at thousands of dollars per coin. Imagine a global financial system where XRP is being used at a government level, moving massive amounts of money instantly across borders. Now imagine hearing that the US government is somehow connected to a plan involving trillions of dollars and XRP playing a key role in it. Sounds unbelievable, right? But this is exactly the kind of narrative that is now spreading across the market. The real question is this the beginning of something huge? Or is this just another wave of hype designed to shake out weak hands before the real move begins? Welcome back to XRP on Moon, your go-to place for the latest XRP news, deep analysis, and simple breakdowns that actually make sense. If you want to stay ahead in the XRP game without getting confused by complicated terms, you are in the right place. Now let's get straight into the main discussion. Right now, the biggest talking point is this so-called US federal bill that is being linked to XRP with extremely large numbers attached to it. When we hear something like a $549 trillion injection, the first thing we need to understand is the scale. This number is far bigger than the entire global economy, which means we have to question how realistic this claim really is. Governments do pass large spending bills, but they are always tied to budgets, debt limits, and economic structures that are publicly tracked. At the same time, XRP has always been positioned differently compared to other cryptocurrencies. It is designed for fast payments, cross-border transactions, and financial institution use. Because of this, many people believe that XRP could play a role in future financial systems. That belief is what makes headlines like this spread so quickly, because they connect a real use case with very big expectations. However, there is a big difference between long-term potential and immediate reality. Just because XRP has strong technology and partnerships does not automatically mean it will jump to thousands of dollars overnight. Markets move based on liquidity, adoption, regulation, and timing. And right now, we need to carefully separate verified information from speculation. Now let's go deeper into this claim and understand what is really being said and how it is spreading so fast across the XRP community. The idea that the US has approved a federal bill connected to XRP with a value of $549 trillion sounds powerful, but when we break it down, we need to ask a very simple question first. Where is the official confirmation? Because in financial markets, especially at a government level, nothing of this scale happens quietly. Every major bill, every large financial decision, and every policy change is documented, reported, and discussed openly. What is happening right now is a mix of speculation, misunderstanding, and very big assumptions. Some people are connecting ongoing discussions around digital assets, financial infrastructure, and blockchain technology with XRP's known use case. XRP is designed to move money quickly and cheaply across borders, and it has been linked to financial institutions in the past. Because of this, many believe that if governments ever upgrade their financial systems, XRP could be part of that future. But believing in a future role is very different from claiming that a massive bill has already been approved with fixed numbers attached to XRP. Another important point to understand is how numbers like $9,184 per XRP are being created. These numbers are not coming from official sources. Instead, they are often based on theoretical calculations, such as dividing large amounts of global liquidity by the total supply of XRP. While this might sound logical at first, it ignores how markets actually work. Prices are not set by simple division. They are driven by real buying and selling, demand and supply, and how much money is actually entering the market at a given time. Also, the idea of a $549 trillion injection needs to be looked at carefully. The entire global GDP is far smaller than that number, so when such a figure is mentioned, it usually does not mean actual cash being injected into one asset. Instead, it could be a misunderstanding of total global liquidity, derivatives markets, or long-term financial projections. These are complex systems, and when simplified too much, they can create misleading conclusions. At the same time, we should not ignore the fact that XRP does have strong fundamentals. It has been built for a clear purpose, and that is to solve real problems in the financial system. Cross-border payments today are slow and expensive, and XRP offers a faster alternative. This is why it continues to stay relevant in the crypto space, even during uncertain times. But strong fundamentals do not mean instant massive price jumps without proper adoption and infrastructure in place. What we are seeing right now is a classic situation in the crypto market where excitement grows faster than facts. When people see big numbers and government-related headlines, emotions start to take over. Fear of missing out increases, and many investors jump in without fully understanding the situation. This is exactly why it is important to stay grounded and focus on verified information. As smart investors, we need to look at both sides. On one side, XRP has real potential and could play a role in the future financial system. On the other side, claims like fixed four-digit prices and trillion-dollar injections need strong proof, not just viral posts. The key is balance, not blind belief, and not complete rejection, where we connect the dots between market behavior, institutional interest, and the kind of narratives that usually appear before major moves in crypto. Because what we are seeing right now around XRP is not new. This pattern has happened many times before, where extremely large price predictions and government-linked stories begin circulating at the same time. These narratives often create two reactions in the market: strong excitement from retail investors and quiet observation from smart money. When we talk about institutional involvement, it is important to understand how large financial players actually operate. Institutions do not move based on viral news or emotional hype. They move based on regulation clarity, infrastructure readiness, and long-term strategy. XRP has always been part of this conversation because of its connection to cross-border payments and its focus on working with financial institutions instead of replacing them. This gives XRP a unique position, but it also means that its growth is more dependent on regulatory decisions compared to many other cryptocurrencies. Right now, one of the biggest factors affecting XRP is regulation. Until there is full clarity in major markets like the United States, large-scale adoption at a government or institutional level remains limited. This is why claims about massive federal integration should be viewed carefully. Governments move slowly, and financial systems do not change overnight. Even if XRP becomes part of a future system, it will happen step by step, not through a sudden trillion-dollar announcement. Another key point to understand is liquidity. For XRP to reach extremely high price levels like the ones being discussed, there must be enough real money entering the market to support that price. It is not just about potential or utility, it is about actual capital flow. Large price increases require consistent demand over time, not just one-time excitement. This is where many predictions fail, because they assume that value can appear instantly without the necessary market conditions. At the same time, we should not ignore the psychological side of the market. Narratives like this often appear during phases where the market is preparing for movement. They can act as a way to attract attention, increase volume, and bring new participants into the space. Sometimes they are used to shake out weak investors who react emotionally to extreme highs and lows. This is why experienced investors focus more on trends, data, and confirmed developments rather than viral claims. There is also a strategic angle to consider. If XRP is truly being positioned for a larger role in the global financial system, it would not be openly announced in a dramatic way before it is fully implemented. Major financial shifts are usually gradual and carefully managed. This means that real progress might look slow and even boring compared to the headlines we are seeing right now. Now let's shift our focus toward the future possibilities and what scenarios could realistically unfold for XRP based on current market conditions, regulatory progress, and global financial trends, because instead of focusing only on extreme price claims, it is more important to understand what kind of path XRP could actually follow if adoption continues to grow over time. One of the strongest arguments in favor of XRP's long-term potential is its real-world use case. Unlike many digital assets that rely mainly on speculation, XRP is designed for fast and low-cost cross-border payments. This is a real problem in the global financial system today. Banks and payment providers still rely on slow and expensive systems for international transfers. If XRP continues to expand its partnerships and regulatory clarity improves, it could gradually become part of this infrastructure. But this process takes time, testing, and global coordination. Now, when we look at price expectations, we need to separate realistic growth from emotional projections. For XRP to reach extremely high values, it would require massive global adoption at a scale that replaces or integrates deeply into existing financial settlement systems. That means not just one country or one institution, but widespread usage across multiple financial networks. This kind of shift does not happen in weeks or months. It happens over years or even decades. Another possible scenario is partial adoption. In this case, XRP is used as a bridge currency in certain payment corridors, while traditional systems still dominate most of the global market. In this situation, XRP can still grow in value, but in a controlled and gradual way. This is actually the most realistic path many analysts consider. It allows steady growth without requiring extreme assumptions about global financial restructuring. We also need to consider regulation as a major deciding factor. Governments are now paying more attention to digital assets, and clear rules are being developed step by step. If XRP gains full legal clarity in major markets, it could unlock more institutional participation. That would increase liquidity and demand, which naturally supports price growth. However, even in this positive scenario, the growth would still follow market cycles rather than sudden exponential jumps. It is also important to understand that crypto markets are highly influenced by sentiment. News, rumors, and expectations can move prices in the short term, but long-term value is always determined by real usage and capital inflow. This is why investors often see sharp movements in both directions. The market reacts quickly to excitement, but it also corrects quickly when expectations are too high. So when we put everything together, the future of XRP is not about instant transformation. It is about gradual integration, increasing adoption, and slow but steady development of real-world use cases. The extreme numbers being circulated may represent hope or speculation, but the actual path is likely to be more structured and realistic. It is important to bring everything together in a clear and balanced way so that you can understand the full picture behind this XRP news and the viral claims circulating in the market. We have seen extreme numbers being mentioned, such as $9,784 per XRP and a massive $549 trillion injection connected to a U.S. federal bill. These kinds of claims naturally create excitement, confusion, and strong emotional reactions among investors. But when we step back and analyze the situation carefully, a very different picture starts to appear. The reality is that XRP continues to be one of the most discussed digital assets because of its real-world purpose. It is designed to improve global payments, reduce transaction costs, and increase settlement speed between financial institutions. This is a strong foundation, and it is one of the main reasons XRP remains relevant in both bullish and uncertain market conditions. However, strong utility does not automatically translate into extreme or instant price movements without proper market conditions and adoption at scale. When we look at the claims of government approval or trillion-dollar injections, we must always return to one key principle: verification. In financial markets, especially when governments are involved, information is always documented and publicly accessible. If a bill of this magnitude were truly approved and directly linked to a specific asset price, it would be one of the most widely reported financial events in history. The absence of clear and official confirmation is a strong reason to treat these claims with caution. At the same time, we cannot ignore the psychological impact of such news. In the crypto space, narratives often move faster than facts. Large numbers and bold predictions attract attention and create momentum in online communities. This can sometimes lead to short-term price speculation, increased trading activity, and sudden volatility. But long-term investors need to look beyond this noise and focus on what is actually being built and adopted. From a realistic perspective, XRP's growth will depend on three main factors: regulatory clarity, institutional adoption, and real-world usage. If these three areas continue to develop positively, XRP could see steady and meaningful growth over time, but this growth would likely follow structured market cycles rather than sudden exponential jumps based on unverified claims. So what should investors take away from all of this? The most important lesson is balance. On one side, it is important to recognize XRP's potential and its strong position in the financial technology space. On the other side, it is equally important to avoid getting carried away by extreme price predictions that are not supported by official data or market mechanics. Smart investing is not about reacting to hype. It is about understanding reality, managing risk, and thinking long-term. XRP remains a powerful asset with long-term potential, but the current viral claims about instant trillion-dollar impacts and four-digit prices should be viewed carefully and critically. The real journey of XRP will be shaped by adoption, regulation, and time, not sudden headlines. If you found this breakdown helpful, make sure to like this video, subscribe to XRP On Moon, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Your support helps us bring more clear and honest XRP analysis. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not financial advice. Always do your own research before making any investment decisions in cryptocurrencies or financial markets.